So today we are starting a new mini-series called the Summer Report. It's going to go throughout most of the summer, a report on every single NHL team, all 31 teams. And starting things off today, we are going to go through this alphabetically, starting off with one of my favorite teams, the Anaheim Ducks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe, and let's take a look at the Anaheim Ducks Summer Report. All right, so starting things off, let's take a look at the Anaheim Ducks starting lineup that's projected according to Daily Faceoff. So taking a look at the top line, you have on the right side, you have Ondrej Kase, who was an unbelievable player for the Anaheim Ducks last year. Really good player. He really emerged as one of the big players coming up for the Ducks, and he's going to be a huge part of the Ducks moving forward. He's one of the younger guys, and they're going to be expecting a lot from Kase this year. He was injured a little bit of last year, which kind of held him back, but really a high ceiling for Kase at this point. Centermen, they're still led by their captain there, Ryan Getzlaf. He's kind of the opposite of Ondrej Kase. He's still a good player, but not nearly the player he was just a few years ago. He's a great leader in the room, definitely for some of these younger players coming through the Anaheim Ducks and kind of retooling this team on the fly. Getzlaf is definitely a huge part of that. And then looking at the left side, this shows the Ducks' center depth. You have Rickard Rakell on the left side, who could play center. In the event that Ryan Getzlaf gets kicked out of a faceoff or he gets injured again, we've seen that Getzlaf has had injury issues. Again, you're seeing a theme here with the Ducks: Kase injuries, Getzlaf injuries. Rakell could definitely be the first-line center for a lot of this season in the event that Getzlaf just isn't ready to go every night or he is, in fact, injured. So let's hope that Getzlaf is good for this year, but you have to kind of wonder the state of his health. So having Rakell on the wing there, it's a good 1A, 1B option for that first line. Looking at the second line, you have on the left side youngster Maxime Comtois. Again, you got a guy like Kase, you have Comtois, really good young player, really good goal scorer. We've seen him play in the American Hockey League for the San Diego Gulls. He's had some really good seasons down there. He's definitely ready to go, and he's got a pretty good leader in the middle of the ice with him in Adam Henrique, who came over from the New Jersey Devils in a trade a couple years back with the Sami Vatanen deal. Adam Henrique, an unbelievable player. Again, kind of reminding me of Getzlaf. He's got some injury issues. He's a little bit older, but he does bring that leadership in the room to calm guys like Kase, Comtois, Sam Steele, some of these younger guys that we'll be talking about. These are good leaders to help in the room and teaching these guys how to win and not accepting anything but that. So keeping a good culture there in Anaheim and letting that move forward. Good job by the Ducks. Looking at the right side, you have Jakob Silfverberg, who just signed that massive deal with the Ducks. Looks like a pretty good contract to some of the deals we saw this summer. And looking at what Mitch Marner could have been making, he's probably wondering, why didn't I wait to try and make a couple extra bucks? But nonetheless, a good contract between both sides, a fair deal. Silfverberg, definitely one of the better second-line players in the NHL, in my opinion. He could be a first-line guy if they needed him to, but he fits very well in that second line there. Looking at the third line, you have young wingers Max Jones and Troy Terry, who were both playing unbelievable hockey. We obviously know Max Jones, a former London Knight, pretty good player in his own right, can score goals, and he's a little bit of a bigger body, which is good for the Ducks. Definitely something Bob Murray, I'm sure, appreciates out of Max Jones. Looking at the right side, you have Troy Terry, a little bit of a different player compared to Max Jones. He's definitely more of a playmaker. He's got a lot of speed, and he's a great passer. So great job there. He had an unbelievable He had a breakout season last year toward the end of the season with the Anaheim Ducks, and was a huge part of that team. Post their major losing streak, he really gave a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel heading into the end of the year. And then down the middle, this is the kid line, the rookie line. You have Sam Steele down the middle for the Anaheim Ducks, so I think it's good that Sam Steele is going to be playing in the NHL this year. Maybe I don't like him there on the third line. I'd rather him be in the top six, but at least he's playing center. We've seen some issues with young players playing on the wing and never really truly adapting. Alex Galchenyuk, for example, that they're not going to babysit Sam Steele here. He's going to play the middle. He's going to learn the game in the middle of the ice, make his mistakes, and you still have Getzlaf and Henrique, who can definitely be good, role models for him and leadership, and kind of teach him the ways, playing down the middle. And then for the fourth line, you got big power forward Nick Ritchie on the left side, Devin Shore down the middle, and Daniel Sprong on the right wing. So looking at that trade more and more, might not have been the best deal there for the Anaheim Ducks, trading Marcus Pettersson for Daniel Sprong. Daniel Sprong just doesn't really have that great of a spot on this team. I wouldn't be surprised if he got dealt again by the end of next year, honestly. I think there's more to Daniel Sprong than playing in the bottom six on the fourth line. I think there's more in him. Marcus Pettersson may not have been as good as everyone hoped. I liked Marcus Pettersson in Anaheim, and I feel like that's kind of, not that it's a weak spot for the Anaheim Ducks, but I feel like it was kind of a mismanaged move, in my opinion. But nonetheless, really good bottom six there. Like I said, you got the kid line on the third line, and the fourth line is a little bit more gritty. And then you obviously have Daniel Sprong, who is really good scoring depth. So looking at the top pair on the back end, you have Hampus Lindholm and Josh Manson. So this is kind of your shutdown pair. You got Hampus Lindholm, who likes to move the puck up. He's able to move it up quickly. He's a good passer. He's able to make breakouts for the offense to move forward. And Josh Manson is kind of the shutdown guy. On the right side, he'll be kind of the guy, obviously not comparing Karlsson to Hampus Lindholm, but Lindholm is kind of the Karlsson, and Josh Manson is pretty much the defensive guy that would always play with Karlsson. So, not a bad top line. I like Hampus Lindholm. Josh Manson, I think they're expecting something from him, and I think that worked for some points last year, and I think it'll work again this year. Looking at the second pairing, you have Jacob Larson and Cam Fowler. So Cam Fowler, obviously one of my favorite Ducks. He had a tough year last year, to be completely honest. So I'm hoping he kind of comes back this season, stays healthy. That would be great for Cam Fowler. But nonetheless, pretty good top four for the Ducks. They've always had really good defense. Bob Murray's been good at bringing in defensemen, so that works. Then looking at the top six, you have Josh Mahura and Brendan Gooley. So a couple of younger guys that have been playing in the American Hockey League going to get a shot here in the NHL. I think that's perfect, and this is going to be really exciting. I think the Ducks overall, have a pretty solid team. They're obviously rebuilding, but I mean, you look at you got the goaltending tandem of John Gibson and Ryan Miller. John Gibson probably got snubbed for the Vezina. Honestly, if they didn't lose the amount of games that they did later into the season, he probably would have been up for the nomination, but he had the team on his back to begin the season, and that's really, why the Ducks were even able to stay afloat, for that whole first half of the season at all. So, obviously Ryan Miller, one of my favorite goaltenders. Probably say from that USA series game against Canada in the Olympics back. Man, it's been a long time now. But when Ryan Miller was in that, obviously Sidney Crosby scoring the golden goal. I always have a little bit of a thing there for Ryan Miller, and I really appreciate him. He's been a great player. He's moved around a lot recently, but nonetheless, a good guy and a good leader. Again, it's leadership. You got a guy like Ryan Miller in the room. He's a good leader to have. Speaking of a guy that they won't have in the room, though, is Ryan Kessler. He's going to be out for the entire season this year. So he's getting surgery done, or had surgery done. He will not be returning for this season. So tough blow there for the Anaheim Ducks. But honestly, I think you look at that top six, and top, that top, their four centermen are really good, and you still have Raquel on the wing on the top line who could play center. So the Ducks have a lot of guys that could play center. I'm not really too concerned about their center depth. Like I said, you've got Raquel and Getzlaf on the top line, Adam Henrique on the second. Sam Steele could definitely end up being in the top six by the end of the season. And then Devin Shore, who is a really good depth complementary piece down the middle for the Anaheim Ducks. And then taking a look, so the Anaheim Ducks have $8.5 million left in salary cap for this year. Patrick Eaves' $3.15 million contract comes off the books next season, so the Ducks get a little bit of cap flexibility there. Daniel Sprong's contract comes to an end. Troy Terry's contract comes to an end. And Brendan Gooley's contract comes to an end. So those three guys will be restricted free agents next season. So Ducks, I definitely have to say, I like how the team's looking right now. Bob Murray's done a great job with the team. But unfortunately, I think there's some issues there, and I don't know if they make the playoffs. Now, the only caveat I have is I could see the Anaheim Ducks sneaking into the wild card race. We've seen how kind of weak and open the Pacific Division is. But the reason I don't have the Anaheim Ducks making the playoffs is I have one of the Central teams not making it, and I have the Arizona Coyotes possibly sneaking in there. I think the Coyotes are due for a good year here, and this may be their chance. So let me know what you guys think. Can the Anaheim Ducks get into the Stanley Cup playoffs next year? I think they're still a little bit young and a little bit weak. So they have some good complementary pieces, but I just don't know if it's enough to get into the playoffs. So let me know what you guys think of the Anaheim Ducks heading into this season. Do you like the format of these summer reports? Let me know down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe. Check out our Instagram at Goal Line Hockey as well. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.